I start to understand hell because of this thing. What do you mean, Brett?
He's still doing it.
Maybe you've heard the story of the fire
he's
fires
behind it
in
now.
the
He's
forest
looking at
mopping
the
up forest fire area. They had fire lines cut, and they were kind of walking along, and they came across this little pile of a charred pile of something. They're like, what is that? Something seemed weird about it. And they looked closer, and lo and behold, it was this bird that had been burned to death, just sitting on the ground. And the firefighters it made them sad. They thought, why didn't the bird fly away? I mean, if any animal, they could just fly away and be free and from the flames. What? Maybe it had a broken wing. Maybe it was, I don't know. And they thought, what a bummer. They wanted to move it off the fire trail, so they just kind of gently started to move the bird off. And as they moved the bird, underneath this bird were little alive, 4 little chicks. They were stunned. They realized what had happened. The mother bird sat on the little 4 chicks, covering them, protecting those chicklets from the flames of the forest fire, giving her life. The resolve of a bird to sit there and say, I'm going to burn to death to save my chicklets. Now, if I were that bird, I'd be like, I'll start a family some other time. Sorry. Welcome Chick-fil-A. Off we go. I'd be like, I'm out of here. Pure tap out. But this bird does this, and what I think of about that is you think, wow, there's something moving about that story. That's just a dumb bird. Christ did that. He came down and became a man, willingly took the pain and suffering because he wanted to save you and me. And when people shake their puny little fists at God and say, if God is love, why would he send people to hell? It makes me understand hell. Because God has done everything and took the pain and the suffering for humanity. And anybody says, yeah, whatever, I don't care about that. I start to realize why righteous and true are his judgments. When someone is sent to hell, it's because of their own doing. It's because their wicked, evil, unrepentant, prideful heart is unwilling to soften and say, God has done this for me. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And there's only one unforgivable sin. It's called blaspheming the Holy Spirit. But in a nutshell, it's the person says, okay, I realize Jesus laid down his life willingly, purposefully, painfully, did that all for me, but I don't care, whatever. That's the only unpardonable sin. You will go to hell for that sin, according to the Bible. Fred, you're starting to sound like an old school preacher. Spurgeon was one of those kind of fiery preachers, the guy that I quoted earlier. But the sad thing is, he was mostly right. Can I read you? I've done this at each of the services so far, but I want to read you Spurgeon's quote again.